are, but our fella doesn't seem to be as entertaining as the elephants are this afternoon. He's still sleeping. Every now and then he swishes his ears along in the water and snorts and sprays water into the air, but that's sort of all the action that we are getting out of this chap this afternoon, and I don't blame him. He's gearing up for a very long night, and that's one of my goals, and I'm hoping to see it hopefully in the next few months, is to actually catch a hippo leaving the water and going out upon its evening to go and graze. But we haven't been able to get them at the right time. But they are quite shy and are quite nervous, so being at a dam, our presence might sort of stop them from going out of the dam, depending on how relaxed they are. I reckon that the Chitwa hippo wouldn't mind too much, because they live right near that lodge, so they hear all sorts of noises all the time. So I reckon that they'd be a lot more relaxed with us. Now, I wanted to show you something, and I forgot to show it to you yesterday, but it's just on the dam wall where that balanites tree is. And seeing as though yesterday was World Environmental Day, I can't believe I got so distracted by the heron I forgot to tell you. But you can see that there's all those rocks, and it looks like it's been put into a cage. Now, obviously, Buffelshoek Dam has been sort of altered into a man-made dam, so we don't pump water into it. It fills up naturally, but they have excavated it slightly. Now you can see there's mesh, and there's a whole lot of rocks packed very neatly and very tightly to form a sort of a cage, and that's called a gabion. Now, as a guide, when you start guiding, you learn various conservation techniques, just the basic ones, the ones that we can sort of use it to help us to maintain roads and things like that. And in this case, this gabion is actually helping support the dam wall. You can see how it's slowly starting to collapse there, but that's natural. That's from erosion. So when we do have a lot of rain, all the water running down the side there. Also, animals using those banks to come down will also have an effect on it. So it's very important that we do come back and we fix these things, because eventually we don't want that wall to collapse and we lose that whole balanites tree, because that could quite easily happen, and very, very quickly. It's a beautiful specimen, and it's home to many different creatures. There's buffalo weavers that are living in there. There'll be scorpions living underneath the bark, as well as lizards and maybe a couple of doves, and who knows what else could be nesting in there. It also supplies a lot of fruit, so it's a very important tree. Lots of different animals will come through and eat the balanites fruit off of it too. So that's just one of the conservation techniques that we are taught as guides, but this is the maintenance team, the bush maintenance team, that have come out to come and fix this. It wasn't myself, Sebastian, or Senzo slaving away, but I can tell you right now, I have made enough gabions in my lifetime that I don't want to have to make another one ever again. Although I enjoy the manual labor, it doesn't bother me too much, but it's not necessarily lots and lots of fun. Should we go back around? Should we see what else we can find? Now, let's take a drive maybe towards Cheetah Cutline. And I'm sure that you are all wondering why I'm not searching for the lions anymore. I do want to check to see if they have found them, but there were just too many cars moving into that area. Oh, I'm just quickly checking, listening to see if they found. So they've just started talking on the. Oh, okay. So I was just listening. I thought there was a new update on the lions, but they're just repeating what I had said on the radio. So area purely because there were a whole lot of cars deciding that they wanted to come and drive there too, and I just thought I didn't want to put too much pressure on those cats, so I removed myself from the situation. But again, that's just my personal preference. Also, the sun is starting to go down now. We're only going to have another 40 minutes or so to try and find them, so we'll leave it and we'll give it a bash tomorrow morning. They'll probably go moving around, and then we'll see their tracks. They're in that drainage system somewhere between sort of Twin Dams Road, Vulture's Nest, Nyala Road South, and probably even as far as Giraffe Dip, which is near Central, that whole block. And they've been in there before, but it's exceptionally thick. If it was just the Nkuhumas and I knew that Amber Eyes wasn't there with that little one, I'd totally go bundu bashing through there. I'm not worried. Those other cubs are much older now. They're not too startled. But because the encounter that it had this morning was its first time that it's ever seen cars, we just need to make sure that we're a little bit sensitive around it and keep creating positive of experiences. And I think driving off-road constantly, if there were 3 or 4 vehicles driving in the same area, it's different if it's just one. It's not that intimidating for such a young cub. But we'll try in the morning. She's not going to disappear. We know where she is. She can't take that little cub too far. Then she can't take it into the manulete. It will never keep up. She's still picking it up and carrying it. So we will obviously get another chance eventually to see that little one again. If she does separate from the pride, and she goes back and she puts it in a den and she hides it away, we'll actually start calling that sighting a negative sighting until she officially rejoins the pride. I don't think that's her joining. This is my opinion. I think that cub is too young. I think it was just coincidence. The whole family came to greet it and said, "Oh, hello, fantastic, how are you?" And then she'll probably disappear for a couple of weeks, and eventually she'll come back again. So that's just my opinion. Whether it's true or not, I'm not so certain. And we can obviously just sort of guess until we see her again with the little one, which will be quite exciting. But very, very lucky for Ali. I'm envious, but also at the same time so happy that she got to see that. Hello, Nyala. Oh no, don't run away. I was only just talking about the lions. I don't mean that they're here. Running in a flat panic as if there were lions running straight after them. But they're in here. We'll have a look at them from a distance. I'm going to go back because it's a strange gap, hey? It's difficult. Maybe if I go forward a little bit more to the next one. Yes, I think that might be a bit better. Is that better? There we go. It's always difficult trying to find a gap, so I don't know if you've noticed, one of the techniques that we use is that it's like, for instance, Sebastian will have it zoomed in on the animal, and when it is a tight little gap, you'll see us moving forward, moving backwards, just trying to find the best spot. It's so funny because as you're looking at these ones, you see how they keep looking back? It looks like they've seen something. There is another in Nyala, and she's just sneaking across the road. She's just run now. There we go. Look, they're watching her. And she'll run straight back towards them eventually. She's just in over there. Very camouflage. You can see her. Look at that. Those stripes are so amazing. Off you go, girl. Don't worry, we won't bother you. Go back to your family. Not wasting too much time. Oh, there's so many more. Look, Sebastian, there's a whole group of them. There's 3 more at least coming through here on this pathway. Do you want me to go forward a little bit? I'll do that. There we go. You can see them walking straight towards us in the beautiful golden light. Now, they'll probably go exactly the same route that the other female Nyala went. Hi, little one. Off you go. And it's not often that we get to see such a relaxed Nyala too. Obviously, they're a little bit jumpy, but I mean, this lot are much relaxed than the others now. They're walking right in front of the car. They don't seem to be bothered by us at all. Come on, catch up. Don't get too far behind, Mum. See, look at that. Not too bothered at all. Very graceful, stopping to look and listen, and not even worrying about us, not even turning their heads to look at us. They're beautiful creatures, aren't they? I think the male Nyala, they have to be one of the most stunning antelope in the world. I also love the male kudu. They're very, very pretty. Hello, girl. So quiet, you can't even hear them. Look at that. You can just sort of hear the grass moving around a little bit, but that's it. Absolutely quiet. Now, Jennifer, you've said that their ears are so funny. They're a funny shape, but that shape is very important. See how sort of they're concave. They're able to pick up sound quite nicely. They're like little satellite dishes, and they have to be larger than that of an impala. And it's important when you are living in the thick vegetation, like in Nyala, kudu, and bushbuck do. Same thing with steenbok and duiker, is that they will hear their prey, not hear their prey, hear the predators before they see them. So that's why they've got that good eyesight. Are you guys going? Bye. And Nyala are off, so we'll go off too. Let's go this way. We'll go driving now. I think we'll go all the way along Hippo Pools and perhaps pop out on Cheetah Cut Line and then go all the way south. I'm going to send you though to Ali. She's moved on from the elephants, and who knows what she's got up her sleeve next.
Well, I think besides the elephants, we haven't seen too much. We've just seen a few francolins running across the road, as they do. We have just decided to, talking about francolins, but now they've gone into the deep bush. So, just gone around seeing if we perhaps can come across any signs of leopards around this area. I think we would like to see leopard, but who knows, maybe I need to find some more lucky beans to be able to find some more things. I think the ones that we got the other day were definitely, had some luck in store for us this morning. So maybe we should go searching for more lucky beans and then for whatever it is that we want to try and see. I wonder, I haven't spotted too much from around here, not too many signs of animals being around. I wonder if everyone just heard the commotion with the elephants, and maybe some of the antelope are aware that the lions are in the property or on the property, and maybe that's why everyone's being a bit shy. And the temperature is now quickly starting to drop as the sun is starting to go down. CJ, you'd like to know when elephants feel threatened. It depends on every occasion. If there's, or animals in general, elephants and animals. So let's start over. CJ, you'd like to know when elephants and animals in general feel threatened. So I find that if there's a lot of wind, they don't like it. They feel like they cannot rely on their senses all too much, so they tend to be slightly grumpy because they, it's almost like they're blindfolded. They can't hear properly what's happening. They can't smell things properly. But also a lot of the times, especially if it's a prey species, if they get a whiff or the scent of the smell or of a potential predator like a lion or a leopard, they do not like it, and you can see that they become very agitated very quickly. And also, if they're under any sort of health issue, so if their condition is not the greatest, or if they've somehow managed to injure themselves, that's when they feel really threatened. And in a lot of the cases, because they are feeling threatened, that's when the animals start attacking. Not because they are aggressive or because they are out to get us, but because it's a natural response of them feeling that there's something that there's not fine. So the easiest way for them to protect themselves is just to go against whatever it is. Oh no, then maybe it was a lion, but I think it's a termite mound rather. Yeah, it's a termite mound. It looked very much like a lion in the distance. Sorry, Craigie, I'm just trying to. So there's a mound there that at the back that I thought looked very much like a lion. It had all the right colors for Mfumo, so I was like, oh, well, look at that. But it's not him. But oh well, I'm gonna carry on stopping for every single one. You never know what you're gonna get. So sometimes you get lucky, sometimes you'll be like, oh no, it's nothing, and then you go back and it is actually something. So I'd like to double check, because then the one time you don't, that's obviously the time that it's going to be the animal that you wanted to see. Nothing here, nothing here. Whoop. John, you'd like us to go try and find some cheetah. I would love to try and find some cheetah. However, it's a bit hard in this area. It's quite thick, and cheetahs prefer areas that are more open to hunt and to move around. I also think the fact that the lions are here wouldn't be all that great for cheetahs or leopards, because if they heard them, or if they got the scent, or if they heard them made a kill, likely they would come and investigate and see what's happening. And because lions are stronger, then they tend to ward off every other potential predator from the area. So not the best of ideas, but who knows. I've been surprised a few times of finding cheetah in very thick areas where they were definitely not meant to be. So let's keep our hopes up. We'll also keep an eye out for any tracks of cheetah. That would be very cool if we managed to see them, wouldn't it? I haven't seen cheetah in the longest time. I think the last time I saw a cheetah in the Sabi-san was probably about a year and a half, 2 years ago. So it was just before all of those cheetah brothers started appearing on cheetah plains, and we got to see them with a certain regularity. But unfortunately I wasn't driving then, so I just saw them from the screen. which was still very, very cool, as they are beautiful creatures and they're so gentle and so elegant. Funny enough, I was reading there was a study done on cheetahs a few years ago, and the study was, I can't remember what the name of the liquid it was, but they injected a liquid that somehow measures the how tired an animal gets, or how much energy they spend doing a certain activity, because they wanted to see if it was true that the cheetahs spend pretty much almost all their energy when they go out for a hunt. And what they found was quite surprising. I think it might have even been the Zoological Society of London that was somehow involved in this research, but they managed to find that cheetahs actually do not spend all their energy on the hunt, on the actual chase of whatever it is that they're trying to bring down, but actually they spend a lot more energy walking around the fringes of different areas and walking away from humans and from other predators to then be able to find a place to go hunting. How amazing is that? Like, everything that we thought we ever knew, it's sort of like that, but not quite really. So I think that was an interesting find. That was something good to know, because I always thought it was the other way around, and clearly when you start learning those things, or you start learning about animals in general, that's the general knowledge. Beautiful. Okay, I think maybe Tayla got tired. So let's see if maybe we can wake her up and see what she's up to.
Hey Ali, I have a challenge for you. Are you ready for a challenge? Megan, what do you say about challenging Ali to a bird call? We haven't done that for a while, have we? Well, I was making all sorts of strange sounds this morning. Let's see. Megan, what do you think? Megan's directing, of course, today, in case you're wondering. I haven't just made up an imaginary person. No? Hello, Megan. Okay, Megan says it's a good idea. I was waiting for her approval, of course, first. So I think I'm going to challenge Ali to a call of the pearl-spotted owlet, because that's an easy-ish one. Let's stop. Got to lick the lips so you have a little bit of moisture. This is a difficult one. Now, the reason why it popped into my mind is because I heard one calling, and then I heard a drongo trying to mimic it. So let's see how this goes. No applause from the peanut gallery? Look at that. I have to ask for support. Thank you, Megan. I hope there was a Mexican wave going on in FC. There's my bird. My attempt at a pearl-spotted owlet, and I'm sure Ali's probably going to do a much better job than I could. So next time you go to her, please remember to ask her to do her call, and then you can let us know. You can hashtag Safari Live as to who you thought was better. Ali's game on. So I love Ali. She's always keen for a little game. Actually, everybody's always keen for a competition in this camp. It's just for fun, and also because I've been practicing it all day. So no, I'm just joking. I just practiced it 5 times before I went out on safari. What was that? Oh, I got such a fright then. Carter, it was actually for you. You know, Carter, who's 12 years old, he started his bird list yesterday, and you've just said, can we find some more birds? I would definitely like to do that, but before I do that, I want to just make sure. I can smell fuel, and for a moment I thought that maybe I'd forgotten to put the petrol cap back on Wendy, but that's not. It's probably all the fuel that I spilt. I wiped it, but I can still smell it. So yes, Carter, we can most certainly. Oh, hang on. What did Rexon just say? He's just saying something about a leopard, but I don't know where it is. Let me see if I can quickly find out. Sorry, Carter, we'll get to your birds. I don't know whereabouts they are. Rex, before you disappear, what's that lock? Let's see. Unfortunately not an area that we can drive. sounds like in Buffalo's Hook, somewhere around there, they have a leopard. I'm not sure which leopard it is. I do know that there was a leopard seen around Sydney's dam. Last night we stopped and we had a look, and there were some guys having a sundowner. Anyway, the leopard popped up and it went north, and I think it must have been Mvula and that they saw. Let me just check here. Megan, is Ali planning on going to Chitwa Dam or not? Is it available? So Megan, just quickly ask Ali. I just want to find her. Ah, wonderful. She's shaking her head. So let's go ahead. Let's go see what we can find at Chitwa Dam. We also explore around here a little bit because we're trying to follow up on those buffalo this morning, but we couldn't really find them again. I don't know where they've gone, but maybe they come down to have a drink around here, and who knows what else we're going to find. But I do have to go to another channel. Go to the Eastern Channel. Ooh. Now, so I'm going to share with you a little tip now and Carter, this one's for you because it seems as though you've just started your bird list, but the question comes from Geeky. Now Geeky, you're wondering, do I have any tricks as to how I remember the bird calls? Oh yes, you have no idea. I had to be so creative when I was starting to be a guide, when I first started, because I really wasn't that good at birds, and my trainer pulled me aside and said to me that I really need to pull my socks up. He basically told me that I was the most horrendous birder in the team, very politely though, but I knew what he meant, and I was so offended by this. I thought, me? Never! I could not be, and I was so... I love them and my favorite things. So that night I went, and every night I would listen to all the bird calls. So I took the most 50 particular area, because you tested on bird that area. Not just in general, because it's hard to know all the birds. You need to know the one that you're guiding. A story in a moment. I don't know, how's my signal now, Megan? Is it better? Or is it still not good? I want to show you one bird, very virtual starling that's shouting out and about, so another one to add to your list, and I'll finish my tips in a moment, but let's go across to Ali very quickly.
Copy, thank you. Right, welcome everyone again. It seems like it's getting a bit chillier now. Lots of little things going down, and before Taylor says that I did not live up to the challenge, this is my best attempt at a pearl-spotted owlet. Let me try. What do you guys think? Did it measure up? Craig? Craig is nodding. I think he's quite happy. Yeah? Okay, good. Yes! So, we'll see. I absolutely adore owls, all of them. Doesn't matter how big or small they are, but the pearl-spotted owlets, I mean, tiny little, very tough little things this big. I mean, what's not to love? I think they're pretty incredible little birds. Also quite grumpy little things. They really don't like it when you start making the call and they're around. And I think it's maybe like an insult, like, what? This is my call. What are you doing? Beautiful little things. Alright. Well, guys, the pressure is on between Tayla and I, so if you feel like one of us should be the winner of the Pearl Spotted Owlet Challenge, let us know. Vote on #SafariLive, and then we will see which one of us has to improve a bit on the birding calls. I reckon maybe I will have to learn a bit more, but I think that one came out quite loud, so I think maybe I should get brownie points, because I managed to whistle, which I don't always manage to do. I think there were some tiny mongoose around here, so I'm waiting to see them again, but maybe not. Maybe they're not around here. Everything's been quite quiet this afternoon. I wonder if everybody heard about, you know, the lions being around and are just shaking and hiding away, or pretty much just being away. John, you're such a gentleman. You're saying that it's a tie between me and Tayla. Thank you. I think I like that answer. It's probably the best way. I do not know if I can imitate any other bird calls, but but luckily Tayla chose one that I can do. So don't tell her, because if she challenges me to anything else, I might not be that good at it, and I would have to, you know, go away being utterly defeated. Let's see. We're going to carry on heading on to the sunset, but while we do that, why don't we go to Tayla, who's driving away in her precious chariot, the very good old trustworthy Wendy.
Well, I don't know if we should say that about Wendy. She can be naughty sometimes, but what we do have are some Egyptian geese with their little goslings. Look how sweet they are. Eating lots and lots to help their parents, showing them they need to. Look at that interesting technique. One adult in the front. We're going to try reposition very quickly to get a better spot. Let's go across to Ali, who's bumbling about.
Well, and we are driving about into the sunlight. Isn't that beautiful? We are in presence of yet another wonderful South African sunset. Just today, look at all those beautiful clouds and all of the colors that are starting to come around. I think the good thing about having the clouds cover that we've had in the last few days, it's been that we've had some very stunning sunrises and sunsets, and well, of course, it's been a lot warmer for us, so we haven't had to resort to wearing as many layers as we normally do. But isn't that just pretty? I think it's a very good way of ending what's been so far a very good Tuesday afternoon. I was a bit disappointed with Jerry this morning though, because she promised pancakes yesterday and she didn't deliver. So we will forgive her for now, but we'll definitely hold her down to her promise of pancakes. Outrageous, Geraldine. Also, I think maybe we will forgive her because she's going to the Mara soon and we're not going to see her for quite a while, so I don't think holding a grudge and not getting pancakes for quite a while is really worth it. But next time I see her, I will definitely ask for the pancakes back. We used to have, when I used to work at Simambili, me, Jerry and Jamie, whenever we had a morning off, the three of us, which was very rare, we would quickly try to have pancakes in the morning. So we would have pancakes for like an hour and then poof, everybody off back to work. So little things that you manage to do to socialize out here in the bush when normally your human contact is quite low, unless it's, you know, to people that are in the spot where you're working. Let's see what's happening over here at Gowrie Dam. Hopefully there will be some creatures up and about. I have hope for them. And maybe we'll see the sunset again. Whoop. Boop, boop, boop. So it's quite bumpy. The African massage, that's what a lot of people like to call it. Ah, isn't that just beautiful? Wow. What a stunning afternoon. I think this is probably one of my favorite things, when you have big bodies of water that reflect the light and then you've got the sun coming down and you can start hearing some of the birds calling just, you know, their last songs of the day. Very beautiful. Look at that. All of these little things around. Well, and of course the very loyal Hadeda Ibis is always around the pan. Very gorgeous reflection on you today. Oh, and we've got obviously the loyal companion, the blacksmith plover. Are you still hungry? Are you getting dinner? It seems like somebody is getting dinner. Oh, look at how beautiful it looks with all the ripples. That is a very... Oh, no? Okay, I think maybe modeling days are over. Somebody doesn't quite feel like it's the time to be modeling. Maybe it's because it's getting late. So we're gonna carry on down the road and see perhaps, what do you guys say? Should we try our luck with the hyena den? see if maybe the hyenas are up and about. I am really hoping they will, because now I've seen 2 of the cubs, and obviously I want to meet the rest of the family. So yesterday's drive, was it yesterday? I think the day before? Well, whatever it was, it proved to be quite informative, because apparently there was a long mystery that was finally solved, which is always great, and I like it how everyone managed to put together all the pieces of the puzzle and find out what's been happening. And I was impressed. This puzzle has been clearly going on for quite a long time, so you never know when you're going to be able to solve a riddle. It seems like Tayla has managed to find a baby of her own. Let's look at it.
Not just one little baby hippo, we've got about 3 of them. There's so many little ones here, but they've just popped their heads under the water. Hippos, do you want to say something? It sounds like you're trying to get something out. Now, we've tried many attempts to, of course, try and reposition here. Here's the little baby head that we were talking about. And we've seen these hippo calves a number of different times. I actually had the most amazing sighting with these 2. You can see the younger one is at the back, and it keeps following its older friend. Now, they're not from the same mother. Both moms are next to them too, but they are so sweet. And I think they're just a few months apart, but they're inseparable. They're always playing with each other, gumming each other, opening their mouths, porpoising around. But again, I was mentioning it this morning, that the little ones are restricted to these shallower pools just until they get a bit bigger and are then able to cope in the deeper waters. But for now, they'll hang around these little islands, and I think they're slowly making their way to the point where they'll actually leave the water. So maybe if we sit here for long enough, we'll see something like that. Or, even better, we'll just see them splashing about and being really fantastic. I love hippo. I think that you can sit and watch them all the time. Now, in a dam like this, it's a bit difficult to sort of depict when the best time is going to be, but I've noticed that sort of early in the morning and then later in the afternoons in this area, they normally become quite active. However, when I was in Zambia, it was the complete opposite. You could literally go and watch hippos at any time of the day. In the mornings and then the afternoons and in the middle of the day, they were just as active. Obviously, in Zambia, you had the privilege of seeing a whole bunch of hippos out of the water at once, grazing in the open areas. But what I loved is
Alright guys, we are racing because we're so excited. Apparently there have been reports of what may be Xongile. Not too far at Twin Dams. I knew that there was a leopard close to those elephants. There was a friend of mine that used to say that whenever there are too many elephants around, there's got to be a leopard not too far. So if I'm not mistaken, either she's up in a tree or she's got a kill, which would be quite exciting to see. Sorry guys, standing by. Okay, copy. I'm still a bit of a distance away. Alright, but we're gonna carry on making our way there. There are other vehicles ahead of us, but we're just gonna, be not too far off. So whenever we do get called into the sighting, that we can go and see who it is that's been down there. I wouldn't be surprised if this were the tracks that Tayla was following up on this morning. I'm sure she's somewhere around there. And how sneaky how she managed to escape Tayla's attention. So I'm pretty sure she's been around the whole day. And part of the tricky thing when leopards decide to live very close to boundaries is that if they go up and down and absolutely cross a very traveled road, then their tracks get pretty much lost and we have no idea where they are. But very exciting news. I'm hoping we'll get there before she goes anywhere. But what a day. I think it's been quite a day. But let's see, hopefully we'll be able to go around. And like I said, I saw Hosanna, when was it? A while ago, about maybe 2 months ago or a month ago. I managed to see him and he was busy stalking impala and he was quite happy to do so, and everything seemed to be going quite well for him. And Xongile I haven't seen for quite a while. I think last time I saw her, she was about half of the size. Yes, we've just got to do a bit of a bigger look because we're waiting for them to call us. Sorry, Craig is also just as excited as I am, and he was pointing me in the right direction, saying like, no, this is the quickest route. But unfortunately, some of the guys are down there, so I'm gonna be fair to everyone and just give them a bit more time just to also enjoy the sighting, because everybody obviously wants to see it, and apparently she's not moving. So I'm gonna go around and just make sure that we manage to get there with enough time to enjoy her, but so also that everybody else does, which I think it's quite fair, you know, as as stressful as it might be, and just build up expectations for everyone. But I'm hoping she's gonna stay there. That would be pretty cool, wouldn't it? Alrighty. Very pretty afternoon today. I think one of the things about the bush is just the adrenaline and everything involved. We go from like up and down, we are wondering what's happening, and then, you know, we go through a very chill patch, and then oh my god, all of a sudden, or oh my gosh, there's something that we need to look at, and off we go. Whew. Let's see. Alrighty. Let's see. I wonder if her tracks, because Tayla mentioned her tracks were going into the drainage, so I wonder if maybe she's gone back. I wonder if her tracks went back into, because it seemed this morning when I was talking to Tayla that the tracks of this female leopard were going into that horrible drainage where we lost Tandy and Tamba the other day, because it's very thick and it's very hard to try and spot anything in there. But sorry guys, I'm just trying to hear. Tina, you'd like to know what the temperature is right now. So it's 72 and 22, but I can tell you I feel it's a lot colder than that. Probably because we're driving with no walls or anything around us, no roof, no windows, no nothing, so the weather tends to feel a lot colder than what it actually is. So, you know, when you get the temperature, it is 22 degrees, real feel. Probably 8 degrees less than that. Well, 8 is maybe an exaggeration, but definitely a lot colder than that. Some impala off in the distance. I might be getting hiccups. That would be quite an interesting experience. Thankfully, it doesn't seem that is the case. Alright guys, I think I'm going to have to put on an extra jacket. Safari Luck, you're wondering how long our stay in the wilderness is and if we miss being in contact with other people. Yes, to both questions. Well, actually, just to the one. I do miss being in contact with other people, and a lot of the times, funny enough, what you miss is having pizza or a hamburger or something that you can't really get around here. Not because the food that we get is bad. I mean, I think you've pretty much heard all of us rave about Amanda's cooking, but because sometimes, you know, you just want something that's less healthy, or a takeaway or something like that. Obviously do miss all of the humans that I don't see here all the time, and normally when you're on leave, the first thing that you do is you phone all your friends and you're like, I'm on leave, and everyone's super excited to see you, and you make plans and everything else. Currently my stay in the bush, it's been on and off. I think it's been about 6 weeks that I've been at home for short stints. So I've been at home for maybe 2-3 days, and then I go on safari again, and then I come back. But normally most lodges, what they do is they will have everyone on a leave cycle, just to make sure that everyone rotates through, so that everybody gets an appropriate time to rest. So the 3 main leave cycles are either you work 3 weeks and then you get 1 week off, or you work 8 weeks and then you get 3 weeks off, or the more common one, and it's the one that I prefer because then you get 2 weeks off pretty much to go anywhere, it's 6 weeks on and then 2 weeks off. And I've never done 8 weeks. Well, in certain areas, I think in the Delta, in the Okavango, Botswana, they do 3 months on and then you have 1 whole month off. I'm not so sure if I could do 3 months on and then 1 month off. I mean, it's a lot of leave together because we just get so used to, you know, keep going and working and then being active that when you have leave for so many days, you're just like, well, okay, I've done everything, and now what? I know it sounds quite funny, but sometimes you're just used to going on. And funny enough, about 2 years ago, I went to study in the UK, and I had to go back into having weekends in my life. And I was, you know, the week would go by, and I'd be like, no, but I've got more energy. I can carry on. Like, come on. And then I'd be, you know, I'd have the 2 days off, and it was very strange to try and get back used to it. And funny enough, one of the things that I really do love about the bush is the fact that days of the week mean pretty much nothing. So it can be Monday, Tuesday, Sunday, Wednesday, and likely I will not have a clue. It won't make a difference, but then when you're on leave and you go to town, you're like, oh, no wonder. Alright, seems like you guys are going to be stuck with me for a little while. Let's go back, because Tayla has some vehicle problems at the moment. So hopefully she's managing to fight all the gremlins. Tayla is a very tough girl, so I'm pretty sure that I will fear for the gremlins and not her. But over here, there's a little pod that I was looking for earlier. But they're broken. No, why are you... there we go. So this is a terminalia, or what's also known as a silver cluster leaf. And I have been told by some people that it also makes a very, very good toy for kids. So if you see over here, this is an enlargement of the trunk. It normally happens when there is a type of moth that comes in here, and then they lay their eggs inside of the trunk. So a lot of the times they inject a growth hormone, so everything around the area where they've laid their eggs swells up, just for the little larva to then be able to move around. But sometimes what also happens is that that is the way of the tree of managing an infection. So they'll cover and they'll swell, just to make sure that they protect a particular area that's being attacked. But let's see. I just want to see, because you can make a whistle out of it. Oh, maybe this one's not working. I used to be quite good at this, but I think maybe this one is a bit too hollow. Maybe it's not working. I'll carry on fighting with this little thing, but maybe I just chose the wrong one and I'm out of practice, because I used to do this pretty much all the time with my tracker. We would have fun and he would have one and I would have one at the back, and then we would start whistling and just show everyone the way it works. But I think it's failing because there are little holes all around, so maybe this one's a bit past its whistling time. Oh no. But it's one of the little things. The local community, the Shangans, use it quite a lot to make toys for little children. And they're very clever in what they will use to make little things and gadgets and everything else to keep themselves entertained. You know, no need to go to a fancy toy place. Let's see. Let's try to... let me just try to get a hold of Mike. See how he's doing there. And perhaps we'll be able to make our way into the sighting. Mike, Frally Mike. I don't think he's listening. Mike, Frally Mike. Is there any station at the moment with that Mafazi Ingwe of Twin Dams? What is happening? Nobody wants to answer. Okay, let's just give it 2 more minutes. I'm gonna start making my way into the area. There we go. Standing by. Okay, copy. Thank you. Yay! Alright, let's make our way all the way over there. Seems like there's a gap for us to go in there, and we'll be able to have a bit of a look. Mike for Ali Mike. Okay, copy. I'm just on Twin Dams at the moment, the dam itself. Confirm as I carry on coming north. Confirm, I'm at the dam now. Copy. Whee! And we were just here. We spent so much time with the elephants around here, and I wonder if Xongile was looking at us all the time. I'm sure she was. She must have known we were looking for her. Let's see. Whoop. Hopefully no Ellie is blocking our path. Yvonne, you're wondering how long leopard cubs stay with their mother for. In general cases, they tend to stick with their mom for about a year to a year and a half, and then that's when she'll have the next litter, and then she'll push them away, and they're gonna have to start fending for themselves. Right, it seems like we have arrived. I'm gonna wait for them to come out. Maybe not. Maybe they are waiting us for... No. The bush logistics. So we're almost there, guys. All right. Thanks so much. Yay! Ooh, ooh. Lots of branches, lots of logs. Alright, I wonder... What a stunning view. Can you see her already? Sleeping like the most beautiful leopard with not a worry in the world. I'm gonna stop here so we can just appreciate it from the distance, but look at that. Look at that. And there is a kill on that tree. This is fantastic. So very proud of you. Let me just go forward. You can take standby 1. Okay, copy. Think there's a log in front of us, a fallen off tree, but look at that. I wonder if you guys know the spot pattern very well. If you guys can confirm for us if it is indeed little Xongile. You've been missing for a while, if it is you. Di, you're saying Karula taught her well. I fully agree with you. Just the proof that this young leopard is managing not only to survive for as long as what she has now, but the fact that she's got a kill up in a tree and that she's so happy and so relaxed. I think that's probably the best legacy, and proves, funny enough, we were discussing how certain individuals are great at raising cubs or raising their offspring. I mean, look at this. I think this is just pure proof that she indeed did a very, very good job. I'm quite happy to see her because we hadn't seen leopards for quite a while. Just, you know, our good old friend last minute leopard Tingana. It's always good to see one of the other girls outside. I wonder if she came out to play because she heard it was me and Tayla here. The girl power. Oh, hello. Are you sleeping? Look at that face. Still very alert of everything that goes on around her, and she's not bothered whatsoever by the vehicles, but she knows that there's something that she's supposed to be looking at. Thank you. Perfect. Thanks. We are going to try and approach and see her from a bit of a different angle. I don't think she's gonna wake up for that. Just trying to maneuver around here. Whoop. All right, wonderful. Seems I think we've got some impala legs dangling from the tree. Where are my binoculars? We will carry on watching little Xongile over here, just making sure that she stays put in the tree while we go to Tayla and see how the battle with the gremlins went. I think she won. Yay, Tayla!
No, Ali, we didn't win. It wasn't the gremlins that attacked us this time. We are now trapped at Chitwa Dam, and I've decided that I'm probably just going to sleep here tonight. I broke the car again, so I've got this nice jacket, and I'm gonna get comfortable and have a little sleep just like this, and then we'll watch the stars. We don't have any snacks. We're gonna starve to death out here. We're gonna have to swim across Lake Chitwa to get to the lodge and see if they can maybe spare us some food and water to keep us going through the night. No, I'm just joking. Of course, we're not trapped. We have broken the car and we can't go anywhere at the moment. I think my adventure searching for the lions a little bit earlier did not go as well as I planned. It seems as though I've clipped the clutch cable and I've leaked out all the clutch fluid now, which means we can't go anywhere. So Connor's looking for clutch fluid to bring us clutch fluid. Otherwise he's going to have to tow us back, or we're going to have to spend the night here. So it could be quite an adventurous situation either way, but I'm comfortable. It's great. I've got a seat warmer sitting on the hood of the car like this with all the heat from the engine coming up. It's actually quite nice. We'll be fighting over this spot in the next 20 minutes because it's going to get exceptionally cold down here at the dam. But luckily, the company is not so bad, and I'm obviously talking about Senzo and Sebastian. That's great. And then, of course, we're lucky to be surrounded by hippos. And great to, of course, see you there, see Xongile. How wonderful. That must have been her tracks that we had walking through the property this morning. But there's lots of different things that are coming down here. There's even a whole family of waterbuck that are on their way now. But they're just behind the termite mound, so we won't be able to see them. And sadly, I cannot reposition for you. But we'll get there. I suppose there could be worse things. I don't think anybody would complain being stranded out in front of Chitwa Dam. We might get our wish and actually watch the hippos come out of the water tonight. I just hope that there are no unsuspecting guests waiting around watching all of this happen. I'm going to see what else I can do to try and get this car to work. Otherwise, we're going to have to wait for our knight in shining armor, Connor, to come and rescue us. Xongile is still around. She's up in a tree. Let's go back to her and Ali.
Well, I'm sure Connor will do a very good job at helping Tayla, and if not, we are not too far, so we can always go and give her a helping hand. In the meantime, not too much has changed here. I mean, look how happy she is to be sleeping up there. It doesn't seem like there is too much of the kill. I just see 2 legs. So I gather that she's managed to eat most of the kill. It seems like it is an impala that she managed to get. Maybe it's actually a diker. It looks a bit smaller, so it could be a diker. I wonder if it's the same one we saw running around here earlier on. But look at that stunning, those colors. Oh my goodness, it's just beautiful, isn't it? The beautiful reds and colors and hues that are starting to come through, and her just thoroughly enjoying the marula branch. And I think this is such an iconic African view, just a leopard on a tree, and they're not often on trees, so whenever they are, we are very happy to see them up there. And well, like many of you know, because you follow the hyenas around this area, we have a healthy population, so the reason why she's put the kill up on the tree is just to try and avoid other predators or other animals, particularly hyenas around this area, to try and get to her kill. I'm sure she had to work very hard to get it, but it's good to see that she's been fending off for herself and that she's been doing so well. Michael, you'd like to know when's the last time that she was seen with Hosanna. I'm not too sure. If anyone's got an idea of when they were last seen, please do use the hashtag Safari Live and let us know. I believe that for a few months now, we haven't seen them together. So it would be interesting to know if maybe they've been bumping into each other while we haven't seen them. But it's hard to tell. I don't think for the last, maybe I want to say 3 months, they've been seen together. Richie, you're saying that Xongile is in a beautiful mode. I fully agree with you, and I think pretty much everyone else does too, because I mean, it's just a stunning setting, isn't it? And I love it how leopards always have those back legs dangling from the tree. I don't suppose it's too comfortable. If you ever try to jump on a tree and sleep like that, you might not be too comfortable. Hello, beautiful. I wonder if she's been up here all of the afternoon just looking at the vehicles go up and down, because where we were with the elephants earlier on, we were, I mean, right here looking at her, or at the elephants, so close by. So I wonder if she's been up in the tree just looking at all of us and being like, haha, I've been watching you. Mad Max, you say she is soaking up the spotlight. Well, I think she was. It was very favorable. That light was looking very good on her. There we go again. Soaking up the spotlight. Yes, she was. And just the last bit of sunset. If you guys can get a screenshot of this, because it's looking so beautiful. Jack's mom, you'd like to know if it's possible for Xongile to take over Karula's territory. Yes, now that there is a void in the area, it wouldn't surprise me if she did. I think some of her previous litters, like Tandy and Shadow, are also trying to take a bit of Karula's old territory. And as a matter of fact, it's not uncommon for female leopards to almost like give a portion of their territory to their youngsters once they become independent. So obviously, this is an area where Xongile grew up in. There's nothing pushing her out of here at the moment, and it's an area that she feels comfortable in. She knows this area pretty well. So I think that's probably one of the reasons why she's done so well, and she's a very clever cat, and she's just stuck around an area that she knows, where to go for food and where to go for water and for shelter. So she's been doing quite alright. Oh, look at that. Doesn't she look super sleepy to you guys? Frances, you say she looks so much like her mother. I'm sure she's inherited quite a few other beautiful qualities too. It's just a good all-rounder. Right, I think there's going to be... we'll have to maybe move. Sorry guys. Alright. There's a vehicle that's been busy moving out of the sighting, so once they do, then we will maybe try and see if we can have a look at her from a different angle. See if we can find out a bit more about the kill that she's got there. Well, while we are here with a beautiful leopard stuck up a tree, why don't we go to a beautiful damsel in distress all the way at Chitwa Plains. Chitwa Dam.
We've also got something up a tree, and it's in the form of many different birds. So Carter, if you are still watching, we've got loads of birds here. Most of them are helmeted guinea fowl that you can see, and then there's some with some very long beaks. Those are Hadeda Ibises that are just sort of around the top right. And this is really cool. So they're all coming to this one tree now at Chitwa Dam to roost. And I don't know if they're all going to fit in there, because what I do want to show you is that the entire population of all the guinea fowls in the Sabi Sands, it's very difficult, but you can see them just moving around the bottom over there. I have never in my life seen so many guinea fowl in the Sabi Sand. And that's obviously because we've got lots of predators out here that will feast on them. So lots of raptors that will eat them. Also caracal, serval, all things like that will munch on them too. But I've never ever sat here so late in the afternoon to watch all these birds come down. So that's really quite nice. Obviously it's not the greatest light because it's very dark, and I don't want to spot them, but it is so beautiful, that view. And Carter, if you look very carefully on that tree, you could probably see it looks like there's some big nests, and those are nests. Those are from the buffalo weavers, the red-billed buffalo weavers. And you can see them just working on their nest just on the outside, but they'll be getting ready to head back in now to go home. How cool is that? There's a little buffalo weaver for you. So we've got 3 new birds that you can add to your list: the helmeted guinea fowl, the red-billed buffalo weaver, as well as the Hadeda Ibis. But I think I've just seen our chariot coming through. But before he gets here, I do want to tell you I didn't get to finish answering Geeky's question about bird tips and how I remember the call. So what I would do is I'd put my headphones in every night. I'd made a list of the 50 most common birds that we got in that particular area, and I'd listen to their calls as I'd fall asleep. So I did that. The other thing that I would do is I would go through all of the calls, and then I'd find ones that I thought were a little bit difficult to sort of understand, and ones that I thought that I would forget, and I would see what do they sound like, what noise is it familiar to me, like I do with the frog calls. And I did the same thing, and then yes, and then you whistle the tunes. Those tunes get stuck in your head, and well, it just takes a bit of time and a bit of practice, but over the years you get exposed to many different areas, and then you're able to learn the various bird calls. But our chariot is here, and I think he wants to tow us away, because I don't know, I think that's the only way we're going to get home this evening, which is going to be interesting, to say the sorry. So it seems like before Connor can come and rescue us. Well, Connor, you can come over. We're live, but you're welcome to come here. He's coming. Here he comes. Strawhead, that's exactly it. That is the greatest comment of the day, looking at Connor now driving towards us. So Strawhead, you said that Senzo needs to show his orange top to alert everyone. He said basically I think that's why he wore that jersey, thinking that we're probably going to find ourselves stranded after this morning's drive and yesterday afternoon's drive. He probably went, I'm not taking my chances holding on for dear life on the back of Taylor's vehicle again. So it's a good idea that he brought that shirt with us. You can wave it about. Right, we're going to be towed away. Connor's here to save the day. I'm going to send you back across while I fight off of these flies to Ali, Xongile, and well, the impala that's not alive anymore.
Yes, well, I do think that rather than an impala, it's a duiker, now that we've managed to have a bit of a closer look. So a smaller species of antelope. And funny enough, it's pretty much nearly finished, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think there's too much of it left, but enough maybe for her to have a few more bites throughout the night. She's very protective. It's almost like she's sitting on top of it just to make sure that it doesn't fall down. I'm sure she dropped many kills when she was little, and Karula was probably not too impressed. Now she's looking down because pretty much at the base of the tree, the marula tree that she's in, there is an elephant. There we go. So we've got a leopard up in a tree, a dead tiger, and an elephant feeding underneath. How is that? I think these Ellies have been around her the whole afternoon and nobody's managed to even notice that they're all so close to one another. She definitely knows that the elephant is there. She was gazing down upon it, but I think she knows she's safe there. She's not too bothered. I mean, this particular elephant wouldn't really manage to get her, not even if he'd stretched out its trunk. So I think she knows that, and that's why she's so happy to be up there and safe. Hello, you pretty girl. I think maybe now she's also realized that it's safer for her not to come down at the moment, just because there's a big bull underneath her. And who knows, maybe she's starting to wake up for her from her daily slumber. We'll start moving around later on as the elephant moves off. I wonder if she perhaps is going to try and catch another little duiker or another impala. There were a few not too far from here, so I wouldn't be surprised if she actually managed to catch herself something else. Like I said, I think sometimes maybe leopards, they use bigger animals like the elephant down there to be able to hunt. Rachel, you were saying that it was just 3 weeks ago when Hosanna and Xongile were last seen together. That is amazing. That's probably even better. I thought it had been quite a long time, but again, I did go through a period where I was a bit disconnected from the internet in general. So I think I can always rely on you guys to let me know what's been happening while I've been away. So 3 weeks, still quite rare for them to be seen together. I think now as time passes and as every day goes by, the chances of seeing the two of them together, they're going to become rarer and rarer, because normally siblings in the wild would not really meet up again. Francis from Israel, you're wondering what would happen if the elephant shook the tree. Well, one of the things that I reckon would happen would be that Xongile would become very alert and probably just hold on to dear life on that marula branch where she is now. I saw once on a very long time ago a bull elephant, but I think this bull was even a must if I can remember correctly, try to get a leopard that was climbing up a tree just because he was so irritated with everything around it, and he did start trying to pull branches down to bring the leopard down, but it was a different species of tree, a tree that, you know, the lower branches were much lower than this one. I would say closer to where the elephant's head is now. So if the elephant started shaking the tree trying to get to the leopard, I reckon all she would have to do is just climb to a higher branch and she would be out of harm's way. I don't think, however, this elephant has got a clue that she's there. Definitely not one clue. The elephant's just been feeding around. I wonder if he thinks we're looking at it. Carter, you're wondering if leopards have emotions the same way we do, and you're 12 years old, and that's a very interesting question. It's been a source of great debate, whereas animals have feelings the same way as humans. There are lots of scientific studies that have been done that, you know, point in this direction, that they have feelings and then they recognize members of their social groups or their offspring. But I think it's very hard to tell if they feel the same things as what we do or the same way that we do, basically or pretty much because we can't really speak their language, so they have no way of letting us know. I do think, and this is my own very personal view, that they feel things in a very strong manner. I think their comprehension of what goes around them in terms of social bonds and what's happening, and if some of their family members gets killed or anything, I do think they've got some sort of understanding of that. I have seen on a few occasions mothers that have lost cubs come to the same spot where the cubs have been killed and just call and return. So scientifically, I don't think there's any study that can prove this, but I think just in my experience in the bush, and maybe I'm a bit too much of a romantic person, I do think that they can feel. They definitely feel pain, and they get excited, and they get stressed, and all of these things. But I think it goes a bit beyond the very mechanical side of feelings. Probably many rangers would disagree with me, and that's why I say I think this is a very personal interpretation of what we see around, and probably it's just me transferring onto the animals my own personal views of the world, which could definitely happen. So I think it's an open-ended question. I don't know. How do you feel about your dog? Do you believe your dog has got, or your cat, if you've got a cat? It's a very tough question, this one, and I don't think there's a definitive answer for it. So it depends who you ask. They might say yes. Depends who you ask. They might say no. I think we've had another elephant join. And another one. There's a whole herd here. But they all seem to be behind the trees. There's a little one with his trunk feeding right underneath Xongile. She's so clever. She's at the right spot where nothing's getting to her. Steph, you are wondering if the elephants know that the leopard is up here. I don't think they do. They've been feeding quite happily all around it. At just one point, the bull that was eating around here before just made a funny noise, but I think it was more towards us than towards the leopard. None of them have actually even bothered to look up, so I don't really think that they know that she's here. And I'm sure this happens a lot more often than what we realize. Just having somebody up there and then the rest of them down at the bottom. She definitely knows that they're there. But maybe she doesn't really care because she's gone back to sleep. Beautiful. What a pretty scenery. I think maybe, are you starting to wake up? I think she's, when you're in that sleepy state after you wake up and you start seeing everything around you. Maybe just looking down, seeing what the elephants are up to. Maybe she's actually even making fun of the elephants herself and being like, you guys don't know I'm here. Stunning. How funny is that? We've got a very sleepy leopard on the top, and then we can just see the branches being moved and trampled and broken. I think maybe this is the 5th elephant I've seen go by, and they still have not spotted her. And don't worry guys, out of every place she could be, up there it's the safest place of them all. Edward, you'd like to know how often leopards hunt. Well, there's no set timing for it, and it's pretty much every time they're hungry. So what they'll do is they'll go, now that she's managed to bring something down, and then she's put it up the tree, and she's going to make sure that she eats it all before she moves off and tries to go hunting again. So once she's full, she might be alright for maybe a day or two if she's managed to have a very good meal. And then probably after that will she really actively try to go hunting, but they are opportunistic animals. So if she had any opportunity, even while she's got this skill here, if she had any opportunity to go and stalk and possibly bring down any animal, I'm pretty sure she would take it. I have seen before, especially during the rainy season when the impala babies start being born, one particular female leopard that she just seemed to be having fun accumulating tiny impala lambs on the same branch of the tree, and I'm sure it's because they were all around. So at one point she had 4 different ones up in the tree. So if she managed to find another duiker and bring it up because the duiker didn't spot her, I don't doubt that she would go for it. Are you stretching now? James, I don't think she's able to hold a territory of her own now. I think in some areas they say that there's a female leopard, well, in the southern Sabi-San, or the last study that I've heard about, they were pointing towards 1 female leopard per every square kilometer, and the average size of a territory being about 20 square kilometers. But I think a lot of those things are going to start unraveling now, and maybe our understanding of how big a female's territory is will start changing now that we've got this research going on by Panthera that are keeping an eye on leopard and lion movements, just to try to get a better understanding, or a better understanding of their movements and what they do and where they go. I think she's a bit too young to hold a territory of her own. If there was another older, much stronger female that could come and chase her away, I'm pretty sure she would get chased away. But for now, I think she's just playing it cool and just trying to keep low, and that's been the reason of her success and why she's managed to do so well. So it's interesting. I mean, she's been doing quite well. She's up here, she's having a very good time, and it's always good to catch up and see what they've been up to in the time that we haven't been able to see them, because when we see them and then we gather pieces together, that's when we can put the puzzles together and try to get a better understanding of what they get up to when we're not there with them. But I think everyone's just as eager as I am to get all of the reports from Panthera and just see how our perception of different things, or what we thought a few years ago was true, if it's changed or if it still holds, and so on. Because a lot of the times what happens as well is this is a very particular area we have. The Sabi-San has got a very unique high density of leopards all throughout, or maybe it doesn't have a higher density than other places, but we are able to see a lot of them all the time, which because they are habituated and they allow us to see them. So I think it'll be very interesting in the next few years, because I was reading today different studies, and they were, a lot of them are from the Masai Mara, from Kenya, and fewer of them are from certain different areas of South Africa. So I think everything is also area dependent, and you've got to look at a particular area to then be able to speak about those particular animals. Yes, there are general rules that they normally share, but I mean, every area is different, and because of that, pretty much every leopard behavior will be different. Seems like Tayla's up and about, so let's see how she's been spending the last few minutes. Hopefully there was a Prince Charming that came to help her out.
Prince Charming is up in front, as you can see, and we are being towed. I like this. I think I'm going to do safaris like this for more often. I don't want to drive myself. I like to just sort of go at the speed of the car in front of me, and then I can just shine my spotlight and relax a little bit. It's quite lovely. I'm never ever going to forget this for my entire life. This has been one of the greatest days I think I've ever had in the bush, and you're all probably thinking that I'm completely loony now, but you know what, it's things like this that really count. It's having those breakdown, it's getting stuck in a riverbed in the thick sand and having to dig yourself out, use the high lift jack, pack rocks under the tires. It's all of these things, and I'll never forget. Every time I've ever guided a guest and I've had a flat tire with them, and at the end I always say to them, what was your most memorable experience? And they would always turn and say, if they'd had an experience where we had a mechanical fault on the car or we got stuck, they'd say the incident with the car really just made it feel like you were truly in Africa. So yeah, I think that we should maybe all start having flat tires, or, well, no, let's not, because I don't think the owners and things like that would be too happy if we continued getting punctures and breaking the cars. This was, of course, a complete accident, and just one of those things when you take the cars off-road, you obviously run the risk of having something like this happen. And it's a thing that happens actually quite regularly, just clipping the clutch cable. It is relatively exposed underneath the car, so when you drive through long grass and there are sorts of branches and things on the way, well, it can happen. I'm normally the queen at clipping the brake line, and then I spew the brake fluid just spews everywhere. Right, we're turning. Yeah, I can't. Now we're trying. No, we're going to try and turn here, and this is going to be lots of fun. So I'm going to get you all to go back to Xongile, and she's finally decided to stand up.
Yes, she is indeed moving in the tree. She has now decided to go into another branch. A much higher branch. Well, maybe not much higher, but definitely higher branch. But I think maybe she's being a bit shy now and she's sleeping onto the other side. I wonder if leopards also prefer to sleep more on the one side rather than the other one, just like us humans do. Carter, you are 12 years old and you're wondering if she would sleep here the whole night. Likely not. I think she is going to be sleeping here for a while longer, but leopards don't normally sleep all night like what we do. So I'm sure sometime during the night, she's probably when the elephants are long gone, maybe she'll come down, and there is a dam not too far from here. Maybe she's gonna go and have a drink there, and if she's finished her kill, maybe she's just even gonna go somewhere else and start her next hunt. Very sleepy. But you see, she's always alert. When the elephants make a very big noise, we can definitely see her ears moving around quite quickly. So although I think maybe she's trying to sleep, but she knows all of these elephants are around here, and the snapping and the twigs and them stomping on the ground is just keeping her quite awake. You almost look like a Janet over there. See, so if she gets tired of this branch, she can go into the next one, because that one seems also quite comfortable. Lots of sleeping options for her tonight. And always, of course, a tail hanging. I have tried sleeping like that and going up on a tree and just hanging like a leopard, but I don't find it comfortable. I really don't know how they do. Because they seem to sleep endlessly like that and like really enjoy it, because all the leopards, when they go up a tree, that's pretty much how they sleep. I wonder if maybe I'm just not wide enough. Stevie, you'd like to know if leopard cubs sleep in the trees with their moms. They can when they are younger and the mom is around. Sometimes if the mom has got a kill, you'll see all three leopards on top of the tree, but they won't sleep on top of the mom or curled up with the mom. It's very hard to keep balance while you're in the tree, so they can sleep close to each other, but they will not sleep likely touching each other, just because it's a bit complicated. But if they are on the ground, and sometimes when the mom comes to a den and it's very cold, or if they're hiding in very thick bush, then you can see them sometimes all curled up together and sleeping quite next to each other. But they won't normally just go and tuck themselves into one another. I don't think they are as tolerant of everybody else's sleeping behavior as maybe sometimes lions are. A lot of the times you'll see lions, resting their heads or their feet or their paws on top of another lion's. I think leopards prefer to have a bit more space than that. Bryce, you're wondering if the elephants cannot smell the leopard. No, I don't think they can, because they've got a fantastic sense of smell, and even when they were around here, they didn't even put their trunks, or at least I didn't see them putting up their trunks and smelling what was above them. And likely, had they smelled an elephant, I reckon we would have gotten some sort of reaction out of them. Maybe, they would have opened their ears, or, just raised their trunks and just, when Ellies are feeling like there's something they don't really like, they tend to raise their necks and their heads and, kind of wander around and see what else there is. I think they've just pretty much gone past, not really knowing that there's a potential or, a deadly predator in the making up there. And they've carried on, not really bothered by her. I don't think they can smell her now. I mean, it is quite cold, so I think maybe the air that's down here, because the cold air sinks, that's pretty much saturating what they are feeding upon. And they seem to be quite happy to carry on moving and haven't gone off too far, so I'm pretty sure they don't know that she's here. Huh. Thank you for facing us, that's very kind of you. I think she's even looking a bit grumpy now. I think maybe she's just like, come on elephants, go off, I want to sleep now. Some peace and quiet. What is amazing though is that we can still hear many more Ellies coming. I think we've had maybe now about 10 of them. Oh, look at that pretty face. She is done for the day. HA, you're wondering what are the chances for a hyena to smell the kill? Well, there's a fair chance that they might smell if she's dropped any parts of the kill, and if there's anything on the ground, there is a good chance that they'll be able to smell anything that's down there. She is quite high up, and I'm not too sure if there are too many hyenas around this particular area, but if they were to even hear her, they would come back and likely just wait at the bottom of the tree for the leopard to possibly drop down the kill. Seems like Xongile is in a very, very sound sleep, so let's go over to Tayla and see how her car towing adventure is going.
We're almost home, we're on Weaver's Nest approaching Philemon's cut line now, so don't worry, we'll make it. Like we said, our knight in shining armor in front has come to our rescue and has saved us. I totally feel like a damsel in a damsel in distress, and I must say, spray tan for what? We have got lovely lots of dust here. I'm going to be 3 shades darker and look like I've just spent a week in Mauritius. Anyways, it's been great and lots of fun, but I'm going to send you back across to Ali now to have one last look at Xongile.
One last look it would be. I mean, I think overall it's been quite an adventurous day. I'm sure Tayla would even agree after her fantastic adventure that she's had. Lots of little things have come around, and it's been quite a wonderful day out here in the bush. I mean, we started off with very little expectations this morning, and both tribes have made us feel the beauty of what it is to be in Africa on a safari. I think we couldn't have asked for a better day. Stunning. I don't think she's going to be going around all too much, so I am going to say good night to everyone. I hope you guys have enjoyed it as much as we have, and I'm just going to be quiet for the next little while just to see if perhaps we can enjoy the sighting and the little birds and everything else making a noise, and we will see you guys tomorrow morning for who knows, and hopefully what it will be another wonderful sunrise safari.